Previously we discussed that if we have, for instance, two bodies and they are not at the same temperature, then heat is going to start to flow. And we stated that the sum of heats, the heat that is gained, is equal to the minus heat that is lost. The sum of heats has to be equal to 0. But how do we measure heat? We define what is called the heat capacity, and the heat capacity is the amount of heat that is going to have any given body, the amount of heat per unit mass per unit temperature. So this is, for instance, measured in, it could be calories per gram Celsius, or it could be a joule per kilogram Kelvin, or it could be BTU per pound Fahrenheit or Rankine. If we know the heat capacity, then the heat is going to be equal to mass, specific heat, or times the change in temperature. Very common heat, specific heat is of water, which is, for instance, 4186 joules per kilogram times degrees Celsius, or for instance 1.86 joule per gram Celsius. And this might look familiar because actually that is how the calorie, 1 calorie, is defined, is 1.86 joules, is the amount of energy which is going to be transmitted to water. So for instance, the heat capacity is also 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius. The heat that is called sensible heat is going to be the heat that we have defined with the heat capacity or with the specific heat. And this is sensible because it is sensible to a change in temperature. So if you introduce heat into a system, then the temperature will change. This happens, for instance, if you have any given fluid and it's in a certain phase or state, for instance, solid, liquid, or gas, and then you input heat, and temperature will start, for instance, to rise in a linear way. And of course, this slope is going to be, for instance, the relationship between mass and heat capacity. So we have discussed heat in this tutorial, and we're to talk more about it in a later tutorial.